Thank you for watching this episode of Dvar Malchus from our new Shabbos House LA campus. Today's Dvar Malchus is in dedication to the dedication of the very new Sefer Torah to Beis Mashiach in Los Angeles, California. Mazel tov. Okay, we go to the talks of Shabbos, Parshas, Pinchas, blessing the new month, Menachem Av, on the 24th of Tammuz, 5751, 1991. We begin on page 291. One of the innovations of our Parsha is the phenomenon of settling and the division of Eretz Yisrael to each tribe and each and every one of the Jewish people. As we stand presently at the threshold of the true and complete redemption, as understood from all the signs of the redemption, as we have spoken several times recently, it is understood that the first and foremost there is a lesson from this regarding the settling and division of Eretz Yisrael, literally in the redemption. However, since we find ourselves a moment before the redemption, it's understood that we must learn a lesson from this also now, for the Torah is eternal, the eternal instruction for all times and places. And may we say the explanation of this based on the instruction of the Psalmic Tzedek to a Jew who wanted to move to Eretz Yisrael in order to occupy himself in Torah and godly service. There, Mal du Eretz Yisrael, make here Eretz Yisrael. Since this was told over and publicized by my revered father-in-law, the Rebbe, to each and every Jew, it is understood that this is an instruction for every person. That also when we are here, outside the Holy Land, and in the time of exile, even in the last moment of it, we need to make here, in this place and time, Eretz Yisrael. And this needs explanation. What is the content of service of make here Eretz Yisrael? For seemingly, according to the Jewish law here, outside the Holy Land is not Eretz Yisrael. The complete service of Torah and mitzvah of the Jewish people is specifically in Eretz Yisrael, as is explained in several madrashim of our sages. And when we are here, in the place and time of the exile, a Jew prays, facing Eretz Yisrael 3 times each weekday, gather us together from the 4 corners of the earth to our land, and the like, and especially in the recent generations and recent times, and especially in the most recent time, that according to all signs of the redemption, indeed, here he, Mashiach, comes. If so, what is the content and instruction of make here Eretz Yisrael? Especially that any moment now we will already leave the exile and go to Eretz Yisrael in a literal sense, and this will be understood by way of preference, a phenomenon in our Parsha regarding the division of Eretz Yisrael, which was according to the lot, by the mouth of the lot, as related in our Parsha. Rashi explained from the Midrashim of our sages that the lot would speak, and the lot itself would cry out, and say, I, the lot was drawn, this border is for this tribe. Now, we need to understand the reason and point of this miracle. Hashem does not make a miracle for nothing. And if so, why did he make the miracle? That the lot would speak. The defining of the division of the land, this border for this tribe, could have been in accordance with the drawing of the lot as is regarded to every lot without the miracle that the lot speaks. And although Hashem wants to show the Jewish people that the lot is truly the decision of Hashem and not by chance, indeed there was already a miracle for this beforehand, which showed that the lot was divine will. Eleazar the Kohen was dressed with the Urim to Viturim that would say with Ruach Kodesh, which would say with Ruach HaKodesh, the divine spirit, if such and such a tribe is drawn, such and such a territory will be drawn with it. And this showed the Jewish people that the lot is true and just. And if so, why is it necessary to have the miracle that the lot would speak? And when we say the explanation of this, since Hashem commanded that only with the lot shall the land be divided, according to the lot you shall divide his inheritance, and you shall inherit lot according to the lot, and specifically through the lot, only with the lot, and not in any other manner. Therefore, the division and conforming of the truth of the division of each part of the land needed to be through the lot itself, and not through something else. And when we say that therefore the confirming of the truth of the lot was also through the lot itself, the lot itself would cry out, since if there is room for one to doubt the truth of the lot and something else, Ruach HaKodesh or the like, is needed in order to show that it is true and accurate. This shows that the lot itself does not accomplish the division of the land completely, and therefore the lot itself would cry out, which through this the lot itself completely accomplished the division it itself said in a clear and open manner that such and such borders for such and such a tribe. And this, however, still needs explanation. The necessity of the lot is not a matter for itself, rather an intermediary for the division and settling of the land. And similar, the speech of the lot does not have to do with the actual division of the land according to the lot. Rather, it's seemingly a side thing to prove the truth of the lot or to publicize it. If so, what difference does it make in the division of the land if the confirming of the truth of the lot and the publicizing it comes through the lot itself, or in another manner through Ruach HaKodesh of the Urim to Visurim, or by Hashem's word or the like? Even if it was not through the lot itself, still the commandment of with the lot you shall divide the land would have fulfilled the commandment. In other words, had the lot been a mitzvah for itself and it's only in its own importance and not the intermediary for something else, namely the division of the land, and the lot would speak, had been part of the actual drawing of the lots and division of the land through it, we would possibly understand why all the details and division, including the confirmation that the lot is true indeed, needed to be done specifically by the lot itself. However, since the drawing of lots is not only the matter of Hashem wanted Eretz Yisrael to be divided, what is important here is the outcome of the lots and not the lot itself. Indeed, in order to fulfill the command only with the lot he shall divide the land, it is seemingly enough to divide the land according to the lot, and the confirmation of the truth of it, which is a side deal, could come in a different manner. Why does the truth of it need to be confirmed specifically by the lot itself, which necessitates a special miracle? And it is not enough that it be confirmed through the miracle that the lot was by Ruach HaKodesh or by the Urim to Visurim through Eliezer the Kohen. And when we say the answer for this is based on the explanation of the Raj over Gon, that in the Torah and in holiness everything, even if it seems a mere necessary step towards a goal, is directed purpose and commanded by Hashem. As with regard to the travel of the Jewish people in the desert, although they were a preparation and a means to get to Eretz Yisrael, still the mitzvah included the actual walking, and the actual stops in the middle of the journey were a mitzvah. As it says, Moshe wrote what occurred to them upon their travels, instructed by Hashem. And similarly, in several manners of holiness in the service of the base of Mikdash, a matter that is only a necessary preparation and introduction to another manner, also receives importance as a holy status. And we see regarding the bringing of the blood to the altar that although the bringing of it is only for the service of spraying the blood on the altar, since according to nature it must be brought, indeed the law is that bringing itself has its own importance, and that this status of a sacred service to the extent that an incorrect intention invalidates it. And may we say that similarly and more so is true regarding the lot, which through it he shall divide the land, although the lot is a preference for the division of the land, since it is the manner with which the land was divided. Furthermore, the division of the land with the lots Hashem's command, and several times indeed it is the lot receives importance for itself, in addition to the fact that it is means for which the land divided, and also its side details, the confirming that the lot is from Hashem, and the publicity of the lot, since they are details of a matter of holiness, they are connected to the actual matter. And therefore, for the drawing of the lots to be complete, to fulfill Hashem's commandments, that the division of the land shall be according to the lot, it was necessary that the lot itself would cry out and say, the lot was drawn such and such border for such and such tribe, which shows that the lot itself, which has its own importance, has in it its power to accomplish the division of the land with no doubts as mentioned above. The explanation of this in the inner dimension of Torah, the conquering, division, and settling of the land, alludes to the service of the Jewish people in conquering the land of Canaan, the lands of the 7 nations, and to make them into Eretz Yisrael, the Holy Land, namely a Jewish and a holy land, a land which is recognized in a revealed way, its connection to Judaism, godliness, and holiness through the Jewish people, utilizing that land, utilizing the land to fulfill it, and with it the mitzvahs that pertain to the land of Eretz Yisrael, to build there a base of Mikdash, the base of Mikdash, upon which Hashem said, and they shall make me a Mikdash, and I shall dwell among them. which this is the reason and purpose of the entire creation, to conquer the physicality of the world, as it says, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the world and conquer it, and to make from it a dwelling place for Hashem, blessed be He, in the lower realms, a place in which Hashem will be revealed, so to say, like a man in his private abode. In order that the service of conquering should be complete, it needs to be in all details both of the conquering and the conqueror. The conquering of the land and its completeness is when the entire land is conquered, as it was regarding the conquering of Eretz Yisrael. If part of the land is left unconquered, the entire conquering is not completed. Also the parts that were conquered, as is in the simple sense, since there remains a danger from the people in the part of the land that has not been conquered, and similarly regarding the conqueror. When is the conquering completed, and in a manner that is clearly evident, and the conqueror that is completely conquered by the conqueror, when the conqueror is engaged in the act of conquering with his entire self, with all its details. The action of man, the conqueror, in the world in general, is with the three garments of his soul, thought, speech, and action. If he doesn't conquer the land with all three garments, rather only in action, without planning and thought, without command and speech, to the generals of the army, to the conqueror, or only in thought and action, or the like, the conqueror is lacking completeness, and naturally also the conquering of all the details of the entirety of the conqueror lacks completeness. And similarly, it is also so regarding the conqueror of the world in the spiritual service, to make a dwelling place for him, blessed be He, in the lower realms, that the completeness of the dwelling place is specifically when it penetrates all the details of the abode itself, similar to the conquering of land, namely that in each detail of the abode it is evident that it belongs to the owner of the abode, and from the perspective of the man who lives in the abode, who is revealed in his full essence, in all the details of his existence through thought, speech, and action, in his abode, since it is his permanent place, his abode, and similarly so to say also regarding the abode for Hashem, blessed be He. In the lower realms, the completeness of the abode is expressed in the fact that all the details of the lower realms in plural, are an abode for Hashem in a revealed manner, that His essence, blessed be He, He is there in a revealed way together with all His powers and garments, the revelations of Seder Hashtadlos, the 10 Sephriot, which are divided in general into three levels, realms of revelation, characteristics of thought, speech, and action, the worlds of Bria, Yitzir, and Asiyah. And since the abode for Hashem, blessed be He, in the lower realms is made through the service of the Jewish people, it is understood that also the Jew who conquers the land must do a complete service with every aspect of his powers and garments, with thought, speech, and action, in addition to the fact that he makes himself into an abode for Hashem by serving Hashem with his thought, his speech, and his action, his service in the world, in fulfilling the mitzvahs, and similarly in doing the permanent things for the sake of heaven, needs to be with his entire self, his thought, his speech, and his action, as known that the completeness of the fulfilling the mitzvahs is fulfilling them with thought, speech, and action, both regarding the mitzvahs in general, for there are mitzvahs which are in the realm of thought, those that are in the realm of speech, and those that are in the realm of action. And in general, Torah, which is mainly with speech, service, prayer, which is mainly in heart, thought, and acts of kindness, mitzvah, which are mainly with action. And also regarding each mitzvah itself, a Jew needs to fulfill it with thought, speech, and action. The intention of the mitzvah, the thought, the blessing for the mitzvah speech, and the action of the mitzvah are differences between mitzvahs and mitzvahs mainly involving action, speech, or thought, or two of them or all three. Nevertheless, the fulfillment of the mitzvah in its completeness, and especially in fulfilling the mission of man down here, and not only regarding the reward and punishment and service in its bare minimum. It is specifically when the person does the mitzvah in true completeness with his whole essence and existence, as it is regarding the mitzvah of loving Hashem and the Shema resuscitation, which is the all-embracing content of the service in general and includes all mitzvahs. There is no service like the service of love, which needs to be with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. From this we learn, and from the service extends to all matters of service which needs to be complete using his strength, thought, speech, and action, even regarding a tzaddik and beinoni, who can differentiate between mitzvahs of thought, speech, or action, and how much more so regarding simple people who do not differentiate that much, and naturally they fulfill each mitzvah simply with their thought, speech, and action. And the fact that a Jew does his service completely in all the details with his thought, speech, and action, he transforms the entire world, which is also divided into the three levels of thought, speech, and action, to an abode for him, blessed be He. And simply in most things, It is evident in their accomplishment in the world, the effect of thought, speech, and action of one accomplishing it. Hence, when the person who accomplishes something in the world does it with all his garments through thought, speech, and action, it is also evident in the matter that he accomplishes in the world. Based on this, the phenomenon that the lot would speak will be understood, just as the actual service of conquering and settling land needs to be with the height of perfection with thought, speech, and action. Similarly, is also regarding the detail of service, and also the matters that are preparation and instruction to the service, although they have no purpose on their own, or they are only a detail of service, they need only be done in the most complete way, thought, speech, and action. And as the known say of the Rebbe Rashab, which was publicized by his only son and successor, my revered father-in-law, the Rebbe leader of our generation, that a panini, it puts himself completely in everything he does. What's a panini? Note, a yom of service, Parshas Pinchas, regarding the service of a panini. One, a Hasidic gathering. The Rebbe noticed that the students were singing a song quietly, an introduction to what would follow the song, saying a Hasidic discourse and the like, and he devoted his entire sikha topic to this subject, and the content of which is that in a Jew's service he need do everything completely, even regarding a manner that is an introduction to another. So when we are still on this stage, we need to be completely immersed in it. Indeed, it is very important that where there is one, there need to be one truly there. Where there is one, he needs to be there. As long as I am occupied with this, I need to be here. And afterwards, one will remove the second matter which the introduction was for, and do that matter with completeness. And may we say that the source of this in the revelation, in the revealed dimension of Torah, is known that all matters of the inner dimension of Torah are reflected in the revealed dimension. It is above explanation of the Rachover Gon regarding matters of of holiness, that also the introduction has importance for itself. And according to this, we may say the reason for the miracle that the lot would cry out, just as the actual service of the conquering the land need to be done in a complete manner with thought, speech, and action, so too is true regarding the preparation and induction for this through the division of the lands by means of the lot. For although the lot is the preference and means by which to divide, conquer, and settle the land, nevertheless it also has the importance for itself, as mentioned above, and therefore also the lot was in the most complete way. The lot itself made the entire division, and also confirming the truth and publicity of the lot would cry out. And the completeness is expressed in the fact that in the lot there were all three, thought, speech, and action, in addition to the action of casting the lot and drawing the notes, and beforehand the writing of the 12 notes, the names of the tribes, and writing of the names, the borders of the lands, and the thought and intention that was needed. In addition to it being, according to Ruach HaKodesh, the realm of thought, moreover the law would speak. The division of the land according to the lot was accomplished completely through the lot itself, only by the lot without anything else, since in addition to the actual lot, its action and thought which showed how it need to be divided, the lot itself would cry out and say in a clear and revealed way, so that there was no doubt left in it, I, the lot, draw such and such border for such and such tribe. And we say that the reason for the fact that the completeness was expressed specifically in the miracle, that the lot would speak by the mouth of the lot and not by the thought and action, since in order that there be a lot, there must be action and thought, the action of drawing the lot in correlation with the thought and intention to do it. The turning fact that shows the most possible completeness is the matter of speech, which reveals the results of the lot and the complete clearness and revelation. And this shows that the lot itself is in the most completeness possible in thought, speech, and action. And as in the speech service of man, the speech is the main thing that shows how much the person who serves the conqueror is permeated with the matter, and also the quality of his effect on others, the conquered. And regarding the reason for this, why the Panimi puts himself totally in every service he does, even in a service that is an introduction to another thing, the Rebbe explains 2 reasons. From the above talk, this indicates truth and not being superficial, that whatever one is, it is with truth and not superficial, specifically by doing the introduction completely. Afterwards, the following through will also be truly complete. Since this is the true introduction, as the Torah declares, naturally, the more he will involve himself in the introduction without haste, the more he will be able to add in, delving and broadening his understanding of the actual matter afterwards. And may we add that since Hashem set the nature of the world, that before one reaches the actual matter, one first goes through the initial step of preparation and introduction, or several preparations, so that the man in the world can get used to it. In the words of Hasidus, becomes a vessel for the light of the emanator. Therefore, also the preparation and induction itself is significant for the internalization of the follow-through, and therefore it receives importance for itself, similar to the importance of the actual matter, the goal, and it needs to be done with the most possible completeness, although it is before one reaches the actual matter. And as it is regarding the general concept of the education, that since it is a necessary preparation for the fulfillment of the mitzvah, therefore it receives importance and is significant matter unto itself, and on the contrary, to a certain degree, it is higher than the category of mitzvahs, as was once spoken, and need to give complete dedication to it with all efforts and power, and more in depth, since the goal of making the world into an abode for Hashem in the lower realms is one purpose for the one Hashem, in addition to the fact that every single entity in the world has significance in it, since created by the power of the essence of Hashem, that he alone has the power and ability to create something from nothing. And the fulfillment of this purpose and its completeness is accomplished with all the details of the lower realms, also including matters that are only a preparation and introduction for another matter. Indeed, from the perspective of the purpose of the essence of Hashem, every single entity in the world, also the unimportant things, and the preparation, etc., has in it the infinite power, the power of the essence of Hashem, that make the thing itself a true matter with a point and purpose, and therefore service involved in doing it needs to be with completeness in thought, speech, and action, and specifically through this its purpose is fulfilled, namely the preparation which leads to the actual matter. And more in detail, similarly also regarding thought, speech, and action themselves, through thought, speech, and action are preparation and introduction to action, since the main thing is action. However, through them bringing about action, and the action is based on the thought and speech, they are receiving importance for themselves. And as regarding the general Seder Hishtadlus, that through the service of making an abode for Hashem in the lower realms, similar to the aspect of the action of comparison to thought and speech, which is accomplished through the power, and it's founded on the revelations of the upper world, also the upper worlds attain an ascent and receive the revelation of the infinite power, although on their own the upper worlds are a descent from the light of his face, blessed be he, according to According to this, we will understood the lessons from this in the service of man in the present place and time, according to the instruction of the Samach Tzedek, as mentioned above, to the Jew who wanted to ascend to Eretz Yisrael and immerse himself in Torah and godly service, make here Eretz Yisrael, Machdu Eretz Yisrael. Although here, outside of Eretz Yisrael, is not Eretz Yisrael, and the service of Eretz Yisrael, and in the time of the exile is in preparation for the complete service, in the true and complete redemption in Eretz Yisrael, as the Jewish people pray every day. However, since our being in exile and outside Eretz Yisrael is certainly not by chance, heaven forbid, rather by divine providence, and I do not request, only accordance to their strength. Indeed, there is a purpose and point to this place and state itself, which is connected and is a foretaste of the embracing purpose, Eretz Yisrael, from its sake and service in exile in its preparation. And therefore, a Jew needs to do his service here, in the place and time, in the most possible completeness, befitting the powers and opportunity in his present state, in thought and speech and action, like Nimi, who is totally involved in the service in which he is occupied with now, and does not think at that time about another service that will come afterwards. I think the Nimi is another word for Pinchas, perhaps. And what is because he was zealous and didn't think about anything, he just went in and did a complete self-sacrifice to Hashem without thinking of the consequences. He just acted on Hashem's behalf. Further on. And what is the content of the service here? To make an abode for him, blessed be he in the lower realms, And the words of the Samech Tzedek, make here Eretz Yisrael, Machdu Eretz Yisrael, and make from this place and time a land in which Judaism, Yisrael, is clearly evident, since a Jew is Yisrael. Wherever he is it is in his power to make the place in which he is into a place similar to that of Eretz Yisrael, and especially in synagogues and houses of study outside of Eretz Yisrael, Bavel, which are destined to be relocated to Eretz Yisrael. Moreover, specifically by doing the service with completeness here, in the place and time of exile, namely one is totally involved in the service with his thought, speech, and action. This itself gets the person used to being used to and brings him to the goal for the sake of which he does the service here. The service of Eretz Yisrael, literally in the true and complete redemption, similar to the words of our sages, that the mitzvah in the present time are reminders, so that when you return to the Holy Land, they will not be a new you. They will not be new to you. And especially when we are speaking, in other words, we practice the behavior of when we would return to the Holy Land now, wherever we are. It's not to have it a new thing when there's a Mashiach that we practice the Torah mitzvahs, that we practice Torah mitzvahs now wherever we are, elevate wherever we are now, and it won't be new to us when we're actually in our return to the Eretz Yisrael when the Mashiach is revealed. And especially when we're speaking of the preparation for the true and complete redemption, which is, as its name denotes, truth and completeness in all matters, in all the details of man and the world. And from this is understood that the completeness of the redemption, whose concept is revealing the completeness in each detail, also in matters which are only preparation for another matter, is dependent on itself, namely that while we are here, the service of man is with the completeness of his thought, speech, and action, make here Eretz Yisrael, and not in a matter that is evident that he is merely preparing for something else. And specifically, the service is completeness here, the utmost possible complete service in the capability of a person here gets the person used to and brings him to the completeness of the service in Eretz Yisrael and in the true and complete redemption. And according to this, the instruction, make here Eretz Yisrael, is understood. Although we are in exile, and a moment after the exile will come and we will go to Eretz Yisrael, the service in the moment, and in this place here needs to be with the utmost completeness according to the current conditions and current place. And secondly, the service must be expressed in make here Eretz Yisrael, to bring here this place and time, Eretz Yisrael, the completeness of the state of redemption, similar to Pinchas, who infuses completeness into each detail in his service, also the matters which are only preparation for other matters. And this itself gets the Jewish people used to the redemption until it brings the complete redemption when all of the Jewish people return to Eretz Yisrael, literally. And Eretz Yisrael is destined to spread to all lands through the service of make here Eretz Yisrael now. In other words, that the fact that we made wherever we are Eretz Yisrael, then inherently when the Mashiach is revealed, Eretz Yisrael won't be just localized to where Eretz Yisrael is now, but that all land where a Jew is elevated to Eretz Yisrael will become part of extended Eretz Yisrael. And this matter is more emphasized in the calendar layout of this year, the Shabbos, Parshas Pinchas, in which we read regarding the settling and division of land, is also Shabbos, blessing Rosh Chodesh Menachem Av, which occurs this year on Friday. Although in the Torah this month is called Av, the custom of the Jewish people is to call it Menachem Av, as we add the word Menachem. Moreover, we actually begin with Menachem, and we may say one of the reasons for this, since Menachem, comforter, which denotes the comfort of the redemption, the purpose of the descent of the month, Av, and more than that, Menachem, redemption, is the beginning which comes before all matters of the descent, as the words of our sages on the verse, and a spirit from before Hashem was hovering over the face of the water, that immediately at the beginning of the creation there was a spirit of Mashiach, since the redemption is the foundation and inner purpose of all the matters, also of Av, meaning root and source, in the words of the Talmud, Avachun Dakulu, the source of all of them, the source of all matters, also matters of holiness. And when we say that this gives afterward the power that when a descent comes outwardly and temporary, one will be able to reveal it, that its essence is not only an introduction to another matter, rather this itself is its concept. The ascent, Menachem, in it has known that the phenomena of Gula, redemption, is made up of Gola, exile, with the addition of Aleph, since through the revelation of Aluf Shalom, Master of the world, in exile itself, this itself becomes Gula. And finding ourselves on Shabbos, Mevarchim, Menachem Av, the Shabbos in which we bless Menachem Av, indeed, the inner purpose of the state of exile here is more revealed as known, but the Shabbos in general, and especially on Shabbos of Bein HaMitzarim, the 3 weeks, the ascent that there is, this time of the year is openly revealed, and this makes additional strength to accomplish, making here Eretz Yisrael to bring the redemption literally in Gola, exile. And this reaches yet a higher level in our generation and in our time, with the emphasis in the calendar layout of this year in which Rosh Chodesh Menachem Av occurs on a Friday when everything is ready for the feast. For Adam HaRishon, we are now in the 6th millennium, which corresponds to the 6 days of the week, and in itself, Erev Shabbos, after midday, and according to all the signs of the redemption, we are already literally holding it, the coming of the redemption, as my revered father-in-law, the Rebbe, informed and publicized the announcement that we have already finished everything necessary to bring the redemption, including also polishing the buttons, and also all of you stand ready, has been furnished, which means the already everything is ready for the feast, and we are already prepared to approach the table and to eat the feast of the Leviathan and Shor Bor, since here Mashiach comes literally immediately, since the redemption has not yet come at this moment, and by divine providence we are still here in this place and time. We must certainly utilize this to fulfill the instruction, make here Eretz Yisrael, as mentioned above. And regarding action, since make here Eretz Yisrael is an instruction that my father-in-law, the Rebbe, leader of our generation, publicized, and beforehand it was not known except to certain people, it is understood that this is an instruction to all people of the generation who are connected to the leader of generation, and the leader is everything, and especially when we are in the weeks when we read the Torah about the settling and division of the land, and in a time when already everything is ready for the feast, and we are already standing at the threshold of the redemption and the division of Eretz Yisrael. Literally, everyone needs to add in his own service to make here Eretz Yisrael. Each and every Jew and Jewish, men, women, and child, each in his place and condition to do it with the most possible completeness, with one's thought and speech and action, and through this to get used to the completeness of the era of redemption as mentioned above. Each and every one of the Jewish people has a part and mission in the world that Hashem gave him. One is a businessman, another's field is learning Torah, like Zebulun and Yashar, and the like. And within each category itself, each specific person has a different part and mission in the world. Each one in his certain part of the world where Hashem brought him, the steps of man are established by Hashem, since his mission is specifically in this place. And so too regarding time. Each moment, each hour, each day, each month, each year, and each period has a specific service and message. Now, although each millimeter of space in each moment in time, and each person's specific mission in the world is only a small part of the whole world, of the places and all of the times, and sometimes a person could think, how could it be, or how would it be had he been in a different place, in a different time? Is it possible that his service would be in a different manner, and maybe in a better manner than it is now, and the like? And similarly, there can be the question, since my service is only in a small corner of the world, and in a detail of a detail, does it make such a difference how I act in it? And how much more so, seemingly, it does not, as it seems to him have an effect on the whole world. And more than this, he asks, how is it demanded of him to bring the redemption when the general redemption of the whole world, when his service is only with a small part of the world in place and time? We hereby tell every Jew, you have an instruction from the leader of our generation to make here Eretz Yisrael, Machdu Yisrael. Your service needs to be expressed, not in thinking about what is being done by a different corner in the world and another time as they are for themselves and for a side purpose. Rather, give yourself totally in thought, speech, and action, making here Eretz Yisrael in your specific place and in each moment of your specific time. And specifically through this, you will be accomplished in the whole world, the whole entire world, in all places and all times, since in your part of the world you are included all parts of the world, similar to how it was regarding the division of Eretz Yisrael, that although each tribe and each family in each tribe received a certain part of Eretz Yisrael, each part had the virtues of all the parts of Eretz Yisrael, about which it is said, a land which the eyes of Hashem, your God, are on it from the beginning of the year until the end of the year. And our sages said, Eretz Yisrael is missing nothing, as it says, it does not lack anything. As the words of our sages, there is not one of the Jewish people who does not have a portion of a mountain, a plain, a dry land, and a valley, as understood from the fact that each and every person must say, the world was created for me. For since the whole world was created for him, it's understood that it is in his power to accomplish in the whole world through that he, in a specific part, including him, the whole world, whole entire world, as it is written, the world he put in their hearts. And although his service is only in one realm, as we can see also from Jews and Tzaddikim who already finished their mission in this world, and since all the Jewish people are assumed to be righteous, we must say that their part, at least, completely fulfilled their mission in the world, though it was not in all realms of service. In truth, each and every one of the Jewish people, including in him the realm of service, as understood from what we say in Kriyas Shema, upon going to sleep at night, whether in this incarnation, whether in another incarnation, since it is an honest accounting, it is understood that it is in his power to accomplish also regarding another incarnation, and therefore he can make an honest accounting of it. And according to this, it's understood that the service of all his incarnations rather, joins together of his service. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol niyeh b'dvaro. Which from this it's understood that each and every one of the Jewish people, whatever his mission may be in the world, has in his power to make here all of Eretz Yisrael, and through this to accomplish so in the world, entire world. Even if a person is a businessman, involved in worldly matters, and not a gabbai and a shul or the like, and naturally he could seemingly think, what connection does he have with the holiness of Eretz Yisrael that is seemingly is only in a shul or a beis midrash? Truthfully, in addition to the fact that he have a part in participating in the building of a shul or beis midrash with his money or the like, also his own service, when he does it with completeness according to his power, includes in all aspects of service in all parts of Eretz Yisrael. And accordingly to this, it's also understood that each and every one of the Jewish people has the responsibility to bring redemption to the whole entire world, since through him doing his own service with completeness in thought, speech, and action, in every detail of a detail, even a single moment, and only one place here, it is the power to turn it into Eretz Yisrael, and through this to accomplish the bringing of the complete redemption to the whole world. And in simple words, as we presently stand close right before the redemption, each and every one of the Jewish people needs to get himself used to the redemption and to place himself in a state of feeling of redemption through making his day personal redemption day, and making his place Eretz Yisrael through him doing his service in this moment and this place with total completeness, with thought, speech, and action. And as a result of completeness of his own service and thought, speech, and action, this must show also in his speech, similar to the law would speak, that since he is permeated with the instructions of the service of make here Eretz Yisrael with a deep felt liveliness, he speaks about this with a liveliness also with others, and publicizes the instructions of make here Eretz Yisrael to his household and to those that are near him, and most certainly to his disciples, to the extent that he speaks about this with whoever he can reach. And since it comes from his inner self, he speaks the words that come from the heart, which go to the heart and accomplish their accomplishment, and most certainly through him showing a living example of his own service, to the extent that he accomplishes that also the hearers become speakers. The lot would speak. And regarding the action, immediately when Shabbos is over, Mashiach will, heaven forbid, not come before then, we should see to publicize in every single place, in a way permitted after Shabbos, the instructions make here Eretz Yisrael, and to continue publicizing the instruction of the following days until Mashiach will come, and then we shall continue in Eretz Yisrael literally, in addition to the phenomenon that Eretz Yisrael is destined to spread to all the lands. One of the special matters of the service of Make Here Eretz Yisrael, which is connected especially to the 9 days which start on Friday, is custom to make a Siyum festival upon completing tractates of the Shas on each day of the 9 days, even when a meat meal is not eaten afterwards, from Rosh Chodesh until Tisha B'Av, and on the Erev Tisha B'Av, and on Tesha, the 10th B'Av, is permitted manner according to Shulchan Aruch. And among the reason for this, since in these days we look for the permeated manners, how we can increase in good and happy manners, and through this reveal the inner good in the descent connected with these days, starting with the commandments of Hashem, are straight and gladden the heart. We make a joyous celebration upon completing the Torah, and for this reason it is correct to make a Siyum also on the Shabbos day of the 9 days. And this year, both on the Shabbos of the 2nd of Av and the Shabbos of the postponed Tisha B'Av, and may it be the will of Hashem that even before the beginning of these days of redemption shall already come, and the prophecy shall be fulfilled in these days, shall be transformed to joy and gladness and good festivals. And through this phenomenon that the Jewish people do the service of making here Eretz Yisrael in completeness to get used to the redemption, we will literally immediately dance into the redemption, and we will all dance into Eretz Yisrael, and we will receive a part of the division of Eretz Yisrael and the redemption to 13 tribes by Hashem himself. Hashem divides it into himself, and as mentioned above, Eretz Yisrael is destined to spread to all the lands. Thank you for watching. Sei gesund.